In the movie Obsession, there's a character named Bear. And in my opinion, Bear is the ultimate coward. Let's check this out. In the movie Obsession, which I think is a fantastic film, and actually you should probably check that out before you listen to this, because there'll be some spoilers involved. In any case, the character Bear is, in my opinion, a coward on a level that I just can't even define. He's afraid of doing everything in his life. Like, literally, the man doesn't even throw out his grandmother's drugs that ultimately ends up killing the cat. But if he had just thrown them out, not like he needed them, they're not for him. He's not a drug addict who uses drugs all the time. Why does he have them in there? My only conclusion is that he's afraid to throw them out. There's a comfort in things not changing. And in the movie Obsession, the character Baron, who everyone calls Bear, is afraid to do anything with his life. He's afraid to be in love. He's afraid to say something to Nikki or even Sarah. He changes nothing in his house. He has no prospects in life and no plans to do anything. He does nothing. And it's not because he's not capable or he's not smart, which they make explicit in the movie multiple times, that he's not multiple times, but at least once in a movie, they make it clear that Bear is actually probably a pretty smart guy. He's just such an incredible coward that he doesn't do anything with his life. Now, onto the story itself. Obsession revolves around Bear, who's the protagonist of the story. Now, before we go crazy with the word protagonist does not mean the good guy. So I'm not calling Bear good. What I am saying is that he's the protagonist. And protagonist is just the focus of the story. So we, as a viewer, literally see Bear in every single scene. Bear is everywhere. Bear is the main focus of our view. He's the person that we're always around, we're always sitting with. He's basically we're like a fly on the wall or a fly on Bear's shoulder, always viewing what's happening to him and what he's saying. Number two, what makes, in my opinion, Obsession a really good story is that they pretty much show us who Bear is. And showing is a part of writing where you pretty much just, instead of telling us, oh, Bear is a coward, don't trust Bear, the writers put Bear in scenarios where he shows himself to be a coward. So we can easily see the type of person he is. This is great for movies and for filmmaking and also for writing. You don't want to tell your viewer what's going on. You want them to feel it and understand it on their own terms. The good part is that we kind of walk through the story with the character, so we kind of feel like we know him. The bad part is that it lends itself to open interpretation. It depends on the person that's viewing it, what they think. That's actually a pretty good thing too. You kind of want the person to be invested in the character, so you give them the opportunity to decide who they are. Now, the reason I mention that is bad is because if you come to a certain conclusion with the story and you end it a certain way, if the viewer thinks your main character doesn't deserve it, the ending, that could be tragic, could be great, but they don't think the main character, the protagonist, deserves the ending that they're getting, they may have a problem with your story. What I think is ultimately interesting about this story, Obsession, is Bear is also the main antagonist. Again, like protagonist, antagonist doesn't mean he's bad. What it does mean is that he stands in opposition to the protagonist. And sadly for Bear, he's standing in opposition to himself. He literally, in every instance, opposes his own happiness. He stands in the way of his own happiness all the time in the movie, which to me really makes the story pretty darn good, because we get to see not only the bad in Bear, but we see why it's bad and why he's like this and why, well, we don't know why he's like this, but we do know why he's in the place that he's in now, why he's doesn't seem to have any prospects in life, doesn't have the courage to talk to Nikki, and doesn't seem to really want to do anything specific in his life. Seems to just be sitting around fawning over somebody who he hasn't the courage to even talk to. To make sure that I'm really drilling down on this point, I want to look at a few clips of the movie so that I can point out where, in my opinion, what makes this story work so well and why it's so clear to me that Bear is a coward of the highest order. This opening clip is Bear in a diner talking to one of the waitresses. And they're trying to help him get up the courage and the will to go talk to Nikki, to express his feelings about her. So he's practicing. He's basically practicing what he's going to say. And he's saying it to a waitress. Mostly because there's no stakes involved that he can be harmed or he can lose anything, because he's not talking to the person that he really wants to say it to. So here we go.
And then after Nana passed, you were the one that called. Even when I didn't have anything to say and we just sat there. So I keep telling myself, don't tell her, she's too good. You'll lose her.
As you see there, his concern was that he's afraid he'll lose her if he tells her how he feels. So he's actually creating his own obstacles. He has no idea what Nikki's going to say. He has no clue what's going to happen when he talks to Nikki. But his first reaction is to assume he's going to lose, to assume failure before it even happens. Why would you say something to someone when you think you're already going to fail? You won't. But it's not because he doesn't have a chance, or he's too ugly, or he's too, something is wrong with his brain, or he has some kind of ailment, or none of that is true. This is a healthy, young 20-something-year-old man who has a job. He has a car. Yeah, he has his own place. But he's afraid that if he tells somebody that he likes them, he'll lose them. With no reference to how he knows that is even going to happen. He has no clue. But his first response is fear. That's where they first show us how much of a coward he is. Let's move on.
Oh. I don't think I'm gonna make it tonight, actually.
Because his cat died earlier in the story, he's feeling kind of down, so he doesn't really want to go out. But when asked why he doesn't want to go out, first thing he does is lie. Let's check it out.
Well, I don't think I can tonight. I'm just catching up on some stuff.
Not catch up on anything. He's not trying to catch up on anything. He's just lying. Instead of just being honest and saying, my cat died, so I'm feeling down. So I don't really feel like going out and partying. I kind of just want to chill at home. That's all he had to say. But he's afraid of what she may think about him mourning for his cat, which is a completely reasonable thing to feel. And yet he's afraid. He's afraid to just tell her the truth about how he's feeling. Why would anybody want to be involved in a relationship with somebody who can't even be honest with their own feelings, with what happened to them? Instead of being remotely honest, he just lies. Yeah, he's a coward. But there's more. Let's even go further. There's more clips around showing just how much of a coward he is. Let's go.
Wait, so what was the important stuff on the phone today?
A lot. I did a lot of really important things.
That?
Cleaned. I did my taxes. I did...
You watch TV all day.
Yeah, that's all.
Why lie? I don't even understand why he's lying here. It doesn't even make any sense why he would lie here. What is he trying to prove? What is he trying to show? I don't even understand. Later on at the bar, this other friend, Sarah, walks up and he tells her the truth. Again, because there's no stakes involved. He doesn't lose anything. Nothing bad's going to happen if he tells Sarah that. But why not just tell Nikki what's going on? What are you afraid of? All this fear is in his head. He believes something is bad is going to happen, so something bad is going to happen if he tells her this. This is the height of cowardice, expecting something bad to happen, or looking to the future and saying this is going to go sour if I do this. This future casting is one of the biggest reasons people become cowards. Looking forward into the future and assuming that something bad is going to happen when you don't have a slightest clue. You don't take the chance. You don't risk the possibility of something going bad because you're too afraid. So you just don't do anything. You flounder. This is what he's doing with Nikki now. And you wonder why he's not with Nikki? This is why. This is why. After the bar scene, Bear takes Nikki home. Well, he's driving her home. And on the way home, he starts to think, maybe I should tell her now. So let's see what happens when he has the opportunity, because it's just him and her alone, to tell her how he really feels.
Nikki, wait.
What?
I was gonna ask you, I lost my train of thought.
As you can see, he chickens out. Even with the opportunity, there's no one around. It's quiet. They're in his car. It's just him and her. And he can tell her exactly how he feels. But what does he do? He's a coward. Utter and complete coward. When I did my reaction of this movie, I was so annoyed with him. It really bothered me. But now I see why it bothered me so much. Because he had the opportunity. The chance is there. The opportunity is before him. And instead of taking the opportunity, he fumbles it. Not just once, but twice, like in the next clip.
Do you like me?
What?
Because if you do, now's the time to tell me.
I think we're good friends.
I think we're good friends. He stood there in the diner telling two people what he really feels about Nikki and what he thinks he feels about Nikki. The guy, he doesn't love Nikki, but he believes he does have these strong feelings for Nikki. Now here, I want you guys to notice something here. Nikki takes control of the situation. She is bold. She is confident. She is strong. So what does she do? She tells him straight out, if you like me, let me know. What's up? But he's such a coward. He's so afraid of something going wrong. Again, looking forward into the future and attributing something negative to it without even knowing what's there. He punks out. Nikki gives him a chance. He runs away like the coward he is. And this is the reason why they're not together, or why he's in this place where his whole life has been ruled apparently by this fear. He's such a person of weak character. So much so that the woman who he wants has to take the lead. Nothing wrong with women taking the lead. But here, she knows he likes her. She can tell. And she's waiting for him to say something to her. He chooses not to. He maintains his coward stance, crouching away, fearful of every little thing, instead of saying what he needs to say to get what he wants. So what happens? She walks away. Because he basically said, we're just friends. He goes and makes a wish, and that wish comes true. So Nikki comes back and gives him the ultimate chance. Like, she literally just says, here, take me. And what does he do? What does Bear do? This coward that he is? Let's see.
Do you want to come inside, or?
Now, he has an inkling that his wish came true. That's why he looked back at the bag. He knew he has a feeling something is off. Something went weird. But what I want you guys to also focus on is not just that, but also the fact that she's giving him the hugest opportunity to come talk to her. Come into my place, let's have some drinks and let's talk. Like, he should be out the car. Like that. Up, out the car, right inside her place, right away. Does he do that? Nope. Nope. He's a coward. In every way, this guy is a coward. The weakest of characters I've ever seen in a story. He is truly the antagonist to his own life. And it continues.
What are you doing?
Come on.
What the fuck?
Actually, no.
This is literally setting the tone for what happens later in the story, where Nikki, now taken over by this, there's a debate whether it's an entity that's taking over or it's some aspect of herself. Either way, because of his inaction, this being that's taken over Nikki, or Nikki herself, has to now take charge of the situation. She has to be the one that gets up off her butt and makes things happen. And because of that, lots of other things end up happening. She is not the antagonist. The Nikki entity is not the antagonist. Bear is. If Bear had just acted, if Bear had done anything proactive in his life, even after the wish, things may have turned out quite differently. But he's a terrible coward. It continues.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You kissed me.
I know.
Back at his place, because she demands to go back to his place, they start to kiss. They get in bed and start kissing. She freaks out and she says, "I'm sorry." Now, he has an inkling of what's happening. He knows what's going on. That's why he looked back at the bag. His first thing was to say, "I didn't do anything wrong." It's not me. I didn't do anything. Like, who responds like that? Your assumption that something bad happened, you just assume, because he knows something's wrong. He knows she may have been compelled. But even in that instance, his cowardice is the first thing that takes over. Instead of saying, "Are you okay? Are you all right, Nikki? The person who I say I love?" Nope. I didn't do anything. What a coward. He's so annoying. I can't stand this guy. This fictional person. The actor actually doing a fantastic job. Let me just say that too. The acting in this movie, fantastic. It's fantastic. Both of them doing a fantastic job. So, quick interruption. Just wanted to say, subscribe. Just subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out a lot. All right? All right, guys. Back to the reaction. That's all. Let's move on.
Nikki, I didn't know you were on drugs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Not saying what?
You took advantage of me.
I don't think I didn't.
I know, that's why I'm saying you didn't.
Okay, good.
In that scene, his friend Ian claims that Nikki probably took some MDMA, which is a party drug. I don't see how they could have thought that. I don't see how Bear could have thought that. He was with her the whole night. She's like totally fine. Nobody was drunk. When she has to go home, she was totally fine. And they were there for a while. So it wasn't like it took a long time for the drugs to finally kick in. No, they were there. They were talking. She's talking to her, and she's completely coherent. Now here, she's like, she came back to apologize because the entity is trying to get its way in no matter what. It's trying to do whatever it can to get on his good graces. So the entity tells him, the Nikki entity, she's kind of like apologizing for what happened the previous night. Saying, I do like you, I'm into you. But the reason I acted weird is because I was on drugs, which is a lie. But it wants to get in any way it can. What's his response to that? I didn't do anything wrong. Even though she said you didn't do anything wrong. Multiple times she says you didn't do anything wrong. His reaction? I didn't do anything wrong. You did it. Oof. You're so cowardly you can't even listen to what she's saying to you? What a terrible person he is. Again, that make him a bad person? I think being a coward of this order, whether you're mean, ill, or not, you're creating ill everywhere you go. Because that's what you're manifesting, this sickness, this fear so intensely that it's corruptive to everything around you. And I think the movie does a good job on showing that. Let's move on.
I know you like me, Bear.
know. Why do you like me?
Again, another instance of the Nikki entity having to take charge of the situation because Bear won't do it. He's made a whole thing about how much he liked her. When she asked him straight up, his response is this almost diverting response. This response of, let it be somebody else that puts themselves in jeopardy here or in danger here, instead of being honest and saying, I do like you, Nikki, which he clearly does. He's made it very obvious to everybody else but to Nikki. So what does the entity do? It takes over. It takes charge because it has no other options. He's creating the monster himself in real time, creating the monster that's across from him right now. Oh, that's right. They're having dinner. And this jerk doesn't have the balls to kind of say what he really wants in life because he's just that much of a coward.
You love me more than anyone in the world?
Yes, more than anyone.
In this part of the film, it's obvious to me that Bear knows he created a bad situation. He knows this is what he wished for because she repeated back to him exactly what he wished for. So he knows. But because now, at this point in the story, he also knows that he has the upper hand, that he can't lose. So what does he do? He has sex with her.
Then why does it matter?
Doesn't matter to me.
He now knows that she's compelled, that she's not operating under her own will and desire. So I think that's akin to grape. And I think that's a horrible thing he's doing right now. But the coward that he is, he continues on relationship with her, knowing full well what he's doing and what he's done. I think he's a terrible human being. Not because he's evil, but because he's so much of a coward that he can't bring himself to act in a way that's positive. After having full knowledge that he's overtaking her will and things start to go a little sour, he wants to change things. He wants to fix it in a way that no longer troubles him. So what does he do? He calls the hotline. There's literally on the box, it has a number. The number says to call. He calls. His first response is, how can I change it? Not fix it. He wants to change it. Not to get rid of it, change it. When he finds out that he can't change it, he wants to cancel it. He can't cancel it. But he's lamenting the fact that she's acting weird. So the guy on the other line says, you want to talk to Nikki? And what he hears is horrible. He hears somebody that's in anguish. And instead of actually talking to Nikki and finding out what's going on from the person that's involved, he does this.
Do you want to talk to her?
What? Who?
You want to talk to her?
Who is that?
Nikki. Do you want to speak to her?
He hangs up. He runs away. What an incredible coward. How incredibly cowardly that is. How do you even talk about anything else in this guy's life when everything about him is filled with such fear? So after the phone call, he goes home. Well, actually, I think he talks to Ian, his friend, and Ian invites him to a party. Of course, he has to bring Nikki because she can't go by herself. She can't go without him, I should say, because of what he's done to her. And I think an important thing that the guy on the phone tells him is that she is now your responsibility. You broke it. Now you have to be the one to take care of it. Apparently that goes in one ear and out the other because at the party, she freaks out. Let's see it.
Any other takers?
That is one of the saddest scenes ever to me. Being the person responsible for her, knowing this is what he heard. He knows he's responsible. He knows he messed her up. He knows he broke it. Instead of actually fixing it or doing anything at all after she harms herself terribly, he sits there.
No, you gotta get her to the hospital.
I'm so sorry.
Stand still for a second. Bear, are you fucking listening to me? Get up.
He just sits there. He has to be forced to take her to the hospital because now he's scared of her. Scared of the person that he controls, supposedly. Scared of the person that actually, if he had just taken charge, instead of letting that person take charge, this demon take charge, he lets it take charge. He lets it take over. And he does nothing. And in fact, the fact that he's not actually stepping up to actually take control of the situation, to be the person in charge of what he broke, he creates a situation where this happens.
To your left. You're supposed to kiss me.
Sarah likes him. She invites him out. He has the opportunity to actually do something with Sarah. She says, hey, let's go hang out. I need to tell you something. He goes to see her, and that happens. He could have said a number of things. He could have said, Sarah, telling you right now, I can't come out. It's too late. We do it another time. Doesn't do that. Not only does he not do that, as she's being murdered, which takes a long time. This is a long scene. This happens over the course of minutes. It feels like that in the movie. I feel like it lasts a long time. He could have stepped in. He could have stopped it. He could have told Nikki stop. He could have grabbed Sarah. He could have said, no, don't. He could have acted. But he's such a coward. So insanely cowardly that he lets it happen and he sits back and does nothing and let this horror take place. Oh my God. One of the most important scenes in the movie. I almost forgot this. Let's see it.
Please don't wake her up. Just kill me.
What would be so bad? What's so bad about being with me?
In that scene, this is before he goes to see Sarah. This is him getting up, trying to leave, sneak out, and see Sarah. In the process of doing that, Nikki, the real Nikki from inside, as a demon has taken over her body, the entity Nikki is sleeping. The real Nikki is speaking through the sleeping body. And she begs him to kill her. His response to that? What's so bad about being with me? What? What? It's nothing to do with you. You heard me on the phone. You heard Nikki screaming in agony. You made it about you. Because you're afraid to lose the slave you now have. Everything he does is based on fear. Everything. No sense of compassion. He may have compassion. Let me correct myself. He may have compassion. He may feel compassionate. But his fear overrides everything. Everything. Nothing in his life matters as much as controlling this person that he claims to love that he clearly does not love. He's that much of a coward.
I've never been with you, Bear. Just kill me, please.
And he fades away as she lets him know, you were never with me, Bear. But he doesn't want to lose his slave because he's afraid what will happen. He's afraid that he'll lose this object that he has. I don't think he's evil, but I do think his cowardice is guiding his entire life. And he will never, ever find it. If this never happened, he would still never be happy in his life. He will still be as a loser person. Will do nothing with his life. Will be an empty shell for the rest of his existence. Even at the end of the movie, where eventually Nikki keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And he attempts to kill himself by taking pills. Even in that instance, at the last moment, he tries to throw them up. Such a coward. Insane. It's insane. But it's so well written. Can you see that the protagonist in this story is being opposed by the protagonist in this story? They are one and the same. The protagonist and the antagonist are the same person. He's self-destructing because he's a coward. That's it, and that's all. And that drives this entire plot and everything that happens after it, because he's so much of a coward that he can't act. And so is the story of obsession. It's just as much a story of fear as it is obsession. And such an intense fear that it stops you from saving the person that you claim to love the most. All right, guys, that's it. End of this one. I will see you guys in the next. Peace.